There's very few things in this world that actually make me scared. Tests, exams, God knows what else. I don't know. My high school girlfriend. Actually, that just makes me depressed more than anything. Anyway, that's besides the point. So, a couple days ago, I was studying for my anatomy exam and I was super stressed out, so I thought to myself, what better way to relieve my stress than watch one of the goriest, scariest movie franchises that still give me nightmares even to this day. And man, I am actually impressed to say that The Evil Dead Rises, that was a surprisingly good movie. I did not think I was going to like this movie, not by a long shot, but I was shocked. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. It was an Evil Dead movie, and I also got to say that was one of the loudest theater going experiences I've had since watching The Northman and any type of movie I've seen on IMAX. Like I said, though, I'm not a massive Evil Dead fan. In fact, I'm not even a massive fan of these movies. They still give me nightmares. I mean, they don't give me nightmares, but I remember the first time watching it for me, one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my entire life was watching the first movie in my basement in the dead of night when I was home alone and there was a thunderstorm outside. Yeah, not a good plan. I would have been better off watching a Disney movie. But after that first film, I actually liked the series. And then the second one, that was more goofy more than anything. Then Army of Darkness, that was pure pandemonium of comedic genius, honestly. That movie was just pure bonkers, but it was entertaining. I didn't watch the remake. I only watched reviews of the remake oh my god, I can't freaking speak today. I've only seen a couple of scenes from the remake. I'm not a big fan of gore or gruesome things. I'd say the one image that stuck out to me in that movie was the girl with the missing cheek. That still kind of freaks me out. I don't know. I'm not a big gore person. So, suffice to say, I wasn't looking forward to this new one. But, since I was studying for my anatomy exam, I was damn near having a panic attack. So I was just like, you know what? Let's watch The Evil Dead Rises. And I liked it. It's actually a pretty good movie. It's gory and frightening, of course, but it's done in a really well done way to make me forget all about the horror, because there's enough comedic roots there to make me forget about the horror. I'd say my biggest issue with the movie is the fact that there are so many dumb characters in this movie. I mean, I get that they're teenagers, they're kids. I was a teenager, I was a dumb idiot kid once. I get it, I've been there. But even in a situation like this where I see a suspicious book that opens when I have blood drawn to it, yeah, I'm putting that book back. Or I'm not even opening that book. In fact, I'm not even touching that book. The fact that the main cause of this movie is an earthquake and it opens up the ground and there's an Evil Dead book in that. No, Book of the Dead. Jeez, come on, Tristan, get your lore together. And Danny, one of the kids, goes down there and he finds the Book of the Dead, and just if it couldn't get more freaky, in my opinion, a statue of, Jesus comes crashing down, and it's in your face for like, I don't know, 30 seconds, but it was pretty effective, I won't lie. But then on top of it, this kid, Danny, oh my god, but that's what I'm going to call him, this kid, because Danny has the bright, brilliant idea to think, you know what? I'm going to listen to one of the recordings even after looking through this book, which has ritualistic killings and people with their bodies open up. I honestly think the kid's a psychopath. And even after his sister says, no, Danny, put it back, he's like, okay, I'll put it back first thing tomorrow morning. What does he do? He opens up the book, he plays one of the recordings. Next thing you know, deadites are going all over the place. and it possesses their mom in the elevator. And the whole movie spirals out of control from there. But once it spirals out of control, it's just fun. It's just a genuine good time, honestly. I never thought I'd have fun with this movie, but I actually did. There's a moment, this is a spoiler, I'm not sure the 10 people or the 5 people watching my channel really care or watch horror movies like this, but there's a moment in this movie where the possessed mother, I believe it's played by, I only remember her last name, Sutherland or something. Teresa Sutherland, I think. I'm not sure, I'll have to look it up. But there's a moment where, she's possessed going nuts. She hops on one of these characters that you're introduced to, like, I don't know, 10 minutes into the movie, and she hops on top of him and just bites his eye out. And of course, it's just gruesome, but I'm kind of like, oh shit, this is like gruesome. And, his eye's missing, he's screaming, she's screaming, everyone's screaming, there's blood everywhere. Not really blood everywhere, but you see the corpse, you get the idea. You see the missing eyeball, and it just looks like Two-Face, but with no eyeball. And Teresa Sutherland, I believe, just pukes up this not even pukes up, just tosses the eyeball out of her mouth, and this other character that's here, I'm not even sure if he's established, I'm pretty sure he was, but he was so forgettable, I don't even know what he was doing. And he just, gets caught in the crossfire, and the eyeball goes straight down his throat, and he chokes to death on it, and he falls. That was just so goofy and so funny, I could not help but laugh. That was one of the most funny things I've ever seen in a horror movie, just because of how goofy it was. Then, a bunch of other stuff goes down, and children are, quite frankly, idiots in this movie. The mom's out there doing her own evil shtick, and the little girl, she decides, my mom sounds okay. Even if my mom was possessed and she started talking to me in her regular voice, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but even if my mom was possessed and she was outside, but she started talking to me in her regular voice, and thought, hey, let me in, I would still go, hell no, you're not right in the head, you're staying outside. And this little girl thinks, okay, I'm gonna open the door. That was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. And it gets even better. At one point, the main character decides, I don't even remember her name, I don't remember any of the names, quite frankly, I saw it a few days ago, and she decides, I want to listen to the recording. So she does, and I'm thinking the whole house is gonna get, possessed. Surprisingly, it doesn't, but she's distracted, and, all hell basically breaks loose, no pun intended. And yeah, everything just goes haywire from there. But she has, these headphones on, you can kind of see where it's going, because she's not going to hear the kids screaming for help. And that's exactly what happens. Until she realizes, oh crap, my kids are in danger, because her own sister crawls into the vent to go attack her. I don't know, it's all very complex. I don't like taking notes during movies, I just watch it, and that's basically what I did. I just went into this movie just for the heck of it. I mean, I even missed the opening sequence. The only part I caught from the opening was a big splash of water and a decapitated head comes popping out. And I'm thinking, well, this is going to be a fun movie. And it was. It was a fun movie. But yeah, I missed the first, couple minutes, which kind of sucks, but, it's the Evil Dead. It's a franchise that still frightens me even to this day for some weird reason. Another big complaint I have about this movie, not even a big complaint, it's a small complaint, but the final monster is kind of lame, where it's just basically all the dead bodies, or possessed bodies, I should say, all combined to form a monster, a grotesque monster. Jesus, I can't talk today. And it's just very lame, but, to someone like my mom, or, basically any non-horror fan, fan. Oh my gosh, I really can't speak today. Yeah, to every other like horror fan, you know, it's just something you've seen before. And to every non-horror fan, this is probably the most disgusting thing you've ever seen in your life. Well, also it's just very gruesome. I mean, the final act is essentially just every single actor and actress, I should say, just drenched in blood. That's where I give massive props. Is the fact that everyone's drenched in blood, but they are all having a good time. And that's what I had in this movie. A good time. I mean, I went into this movie with no expectations other than just get my mind off anatomy so I don't freak out during the exam or even while I'm studying, and it worked. I mean, my stress was instantly relieved. Not much else can be said about the movie other than, it was surprisingly good. I knew that the remake of Salem's Lot was gonna come out on this specific date, and I was kind of disappointed, but a good friend I haven't talked to in quite some time, he told me, like, oh, what's wrong with The Evil Dead? Nothing's wrong with it. I'm just not a big fan of The Evil Dead. And, remake of Salem's Lot, I'm a Stephen King guy. In terms of books, his movies are either hit or miss. They're mostly misses. And, I'm kind of disappointed. I wanted to see the Salem's Lot remake. On my birthday, no less. That would have been a good movie to see on my birthday. But either way, it was a good movie, solid good time. I'm not gonna be pretentious and give it a grade or even like a number or a letter or whatever. I'm just gonna say it's a good movie. It's a good time. But, I'm not a big fan of The Evil Dead, but again, who cares? It's what do you expect from this movie? Okay, with that review out of the way, I just figured I'd give you a quick update. Well, not really a quick update because you have to get through 15 minutes of video to get to it, but that's besides the point. So, just to give you an update, I'm going to try to upload videos as best I can. I'm going to try to, just with, finals week going on, I don't think I can post as much, but I will try. I mean, I'm essentially doing this the night before I have to go to work, and I have to wake up at 4 in the morning, take a shower, get dressed, eat breakfast. So, really sacrificing my time. And also, I have plenty of energy right now, so I figured why not? I have nothing better to do. I already lifted, I already studied quite a bit, and this was a long overdue video. Honestly, I wanted to make a video on this, but I couldn't find the time. I'll make a video on John Wick Chapter 4, or even the John Wick franchise, but I don't know yet. But that's kind of where I'm at.